It's been about 3 to 4 years since I have made my Mayfield Massacre series, and now I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the war is over. NASCAR has lost. What do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. A few days ago, I was doing a couple different searches on websites I check every so often. One of them is certain Twitter accounts I follow. And one of the Twitter accounts that I follow, even though I'm not on Twitter, so don't start, is Shauna Mayfield's, because of my Mayfield Massacre series. And what's interesting was when I checked out her Twitter account that day, I saw a Twitter account that is called J2 Mayfield. So I clicked on it, and it was Jeremy. I went to see what was going on, and I actually found out that he's actually racing. I know some of you who are not necessarily Mayfield people, probably that shock to you guys, but that's the truth. He is now racing. It's pretty interesting. And he actually has a website. It's j2mayfield.com. Here's a snapshot of it that I caught, ironically with Funny Bone. And it's pretty interesting because when you travel around the site of it, there's a lot of interesting things that you see. Basically, he says it's a underdog story about redemption, about Jeremy claiming his life back after people try to steal it from him, and also, and I found this pretty interesting, the story about racing trying to fight for its life and what it's supposed to be. Basically, he's saying that grassroots racing is the way that racing is supposed to be. And that's basically what he's going to do, because NASCAR is not going to reinstate him. This little thing right here, here's another snapshot that I caught. It's on the welcome page, I believe. It's interesting here is that the second paragraph says, quote, and while Jeremy is the personification of this, a good comeback story, he isn't the only protagonist in the story. He shares the track with another underdog, albeit an underdog that has been speeding under the radar. We are talking about racing itself. We believe something is wrong with racing. It's left behind its true fans, its foundation. Racing doesn't need to go global. It needs to go local. Racing shouldn't broaden its reach. It should return to its roots. That's an interesting prospect because, to a certain extent, he's right. Look at all these billion-dollar trucks that we have nowadays. Most of them are 1.5-mile D-shaped ovals, and that's in NASCAR. And IndyCar, to a certain extent, is having the same issue because it used to be they were all about the ovals and stuff. And most of them unique, by the way. Now we're getting into road courses and stuff. Really? It's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting story. I encourage you guys to check it out. It's j2mayfield.com. He's got a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram, a Vimeo, a YouTube. Yes, he even has a YouTube. It's J2 Mayfield. Go find it. And as I said earlier, I think I already said he's on Twitter, but anyway, it's pretty interesting to me, this story. Because the original reason why I did this little series I call the Mayfield Massacre is not because of one of those meltdown type stories that you hear some people go through. It's because of something. If you follow the series completely, and I'm sure a lot of you have, it's one of my most popular series on my main channel. I did it because I wanted to try and get people to sympathize with Jeremy and to help him, because I had a hunch based on a pattern I saw that if NASCAR was going to try and rage out on him like they did to another driver that is now deceased, I feared that something might happen to Jeremy's mental state that might cause him to do that. And that is what I meant by NASCAR losing the war. If that's what NASCAR was attempting to do, and I really hope they didn't, but knowing them they probably did, they lost the war. Mayfield's overcome all the obstacles, has beaten any sort of rage that's been going on, and now he's back racing and reclaiming his life. And I'm sure that even though there are some people who are not big with Jeremy racing again, I'm sure that most everyone is happy that Jeremy's back racing where he needs to be. So I encourage you guys to check this out. The Mayfield Massacre series is now effectively over. There's no more massacre worries and all that stuff. I will keep up the Mayfield Massacre series in its entirety for historical purposes in case anything like this happens again to someone else, and then we could use that story to try and stop that kind of thing from happening again, where NASCAR tries to rage out and does the wrong things instead of trying to help people do the right thing. So, j2mayfield.com. He's on almost all of the social media stuff that I'm aware of. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vimeo, YouTube. And hope you guys enjoy it. Like what I found during this search. And we're very happy to have Jeremy back in racing. Even if NASCAR is not that happy. Ha ha ha. This is Ultimate 23 Dragon, and that's my final answer.